playing in her face, keep bringing up kids, knowing you have kids. Welcome to La Vida Rosa. I'm your host, Pinky, and today we're going to be talking about Love is Blind, Season 7, Episode 9. So if you'd like to see more, then just stay tuned. But before we begin, I would like for everyone to check out my website, lavidarosastyle.com, where you can find cute accessories like the ones I'm wearing right now. And also, I have a cute collection of fall earrings for you to check out as well. The link is down below. Like, comment, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into this video. Let's talk about Garrett and Taylor. Garrett's parents keep having these private conversations with him about not agreeing with this union, and he struggles with whether or not to tell Taylor because he doesn't want to hurt her, and it's not directed at her specifically. It's really directed at marrying a stranger. I hope that's what it's directed at, because I don't know, child. She says she doesn't want him to feel bad about those conversations and doesn't take it personally. She really can't put too much blame on him because her parents don't even want to film. You know, even though they're willing to meet him, they're having their reservations about the situation too. But they do end up going to San Diego to meet her family and her friends. And even though they don't want to be on camera, he talks about it before meeting them and says, well, if your dad says no, does it make sense for y'all to get married? He said that even if his parents felt like he shouldn't, he would still want to get married. But how do you feel? And I feel like that was a good question. He ends up meeting her friends, and they pretty much like him and embrace him when they first meet him. They do worry that he is not going to be comfortable with moving to San Diego, leaving his friends and family and everything he's ever known to come stay with her. And he claims that he's willing to do all of that because he's so crazy in love with her. He's so comfortable with her. He's never felt like this with anyone else. So it makes him feel like this is something that he really wants to do. But her friends feel like that's something you really should consider and think about before taking that leap. Let's move on to Tim and Alex. She goes to look at his place, and it's very nice, very masculine. Everything has its spot, well decorated, but in a very manly, like man cave kind of way. Whenever they start living together, she will be moving in with him. And, you know, he has a very nice home, and he claims he's willing to let her, you know, add her touches to everything. So, you know, that was a nice little conversation. But then they go look at her place. And cluttered is an understatement. It was junky, messy. It almost looked like an episode of Hoarders. There were clothes everywhere on the bed, in the closet. There was a huge pile. Like, I don't even know how she would be able to walk in that closet. Even in the living room, there was stuff everywhere. And I'm just like, I don't even understand why you would allow a camera crew to film this. I don't care if I live like this on a daily basis. I'm going to clean up before anybody comes over to my house. That's just how I was raised, okay? I can't let no... So my thing is, if it looks like this and you're allowing other people to see it, I can't imagine how bad it gets on a daily basis. It was wild. Like, imagine what the bathroom looks like. He was doing his best to joke his way around everything. And he was being a really good sport. He was being a really good sport. Because you know his skin was probably crawling. Mine was just watching it. Especially with seeing how his place looked. Everything was neat and in order. That is going to be a problem. I don't care what he says. I don't care what she says. That is going to be an issue in their relationship. Next, we have Ramsy and Marissa. So he's meeting her mom and her family. All of her and her siblings have different fathers. Basically, they were joking around like their fathers could make up a volleyball team. Low-key roasting the mom. I'm like, how y'all gonna put y'all mama on blast like that? I was like, y'all are doing her so dirty. Until the mama opened her mouth and I understood it all. I got it. First of all, the mother came off as kind of bitter and just unnecessarily combative. Like, I understand wanting to grill the person that your daughter is going to marry. I get it, especially since there's not a man in the picture to do it. But she was just being nasty for no reason. She was saying that she didn't like his outfit, didn't like his hair, and, you know, just really roasting him and going in on him. And at some point she said that he looked like he could be one of the siblings, which I ain't gonna lie, like, I didn't think it. I thought the same thing. Before she even got to know the man, before he could even say hello, she was just being nasty. Then we start hearing about the history of how she was married to Marissa's father, but they ended up getting a divorce. And then, you know, he ran off and didn't want to take care of his kids. And so she became a, you know, single mother and had to care for all these kids by herself, and how it was rough for them and how they didn't have much. And she doesn't want that for her daughter, pretty much. She asked him, you know, what he does for a living. And, you know, he lets her know that he went to college, but he didn't finish because I believe he said his father passed away. And she turned around and said, well, she doesn't want him to be dependent upon her law degree. He wants him to be able to contribute financially. She doesn't want to have to be the one to take care of the grandkids if they have any. So then we got to hear a little bit about how Marissa is very bossy and somewhat controlling. And, you know, she has that military background, so I could kind of see that, but we just have not seen it on screen just yet. But he agreed that, you know, he's seen that side of her. He ends up telling the mom that he has been married before, and he was married at 25, and he said that was very early on. She said, that is not early, you are not that young. And I guess that's relative, but I do think 25, you know, for most people is kind of young to be getting married. She asked why the marriage didn't work out. He said that they just went down two different paths religiously. He wasn't trying to be, you know, in Christianity anymore. And so they both agreed to divorce. And she was like, y'all agreed to divorce. Don't try to make it seem like you were just a saint and you just set her free. And you could tell the mom has just been really jaded by her past relationships. And, you know, she says that marriage doesn't last forever and people just tolerate each other until they get divorced. The mom was not holding back at all. Once Marissa got up and went to the bathroom, she tells him that she wants them to get a prenuptial agreement. She's been hurt by her father, her stepfathers, and she doesn't want another man to come in and be able to hurt her in that way. And he had no objections to it. He was willing to jump face first into signing that prenup. He said he doesn't want to be with her for her money, which she doesn't have money yet, but she's working on a law degree and eventually she will be making more than him. And she said as long as he signs that prenup, she'll give her approval. Him and Marissa end up talking about it afterwards. She said that her mom needs therapy. She says her mom needs therapy and, you know, she pretty much is bitter. And then they start talking about kids and the fact that he wants to wait 3 to 5 years before they have kids. But she's 32, and by the time 5 years rolls around, she'll be 37, and she doesn't want to start having kids that late. And pretty much she wants to compromise, and he says that he just wants them to be able to spend time together with just them two before they just rush into having children. Because of that, there has to be some birth control in place. And at first she said, well, I will just have to get on birth control. And then she said she didn't want to do it because of how it affected her before, which is understandable. Like, they had the same conversation, the same scenario happened last season with one of the couples. She was like, well, we do have another option of condoms. And that's something that he didn't want to do. He was like, well, I want to be able to enjoy, you know, whenever they participate in that. And it's like either you do that or you accept the consequences of not doing it. It's that simple. And so, you know, it seems like that's going to be another point of contention for them. They've just been acting like everything is so easy and go with the flow. But y'all have some big deal breakers in y'all relationship. And y'all should really consider all of that before y'all just jump into a marriage. Whenever they have these conversations, they'll try to end on like oh, but it's whatever type of note. And it's like, no, one or both of y'all have a big issue with this argument y'all just had. Like, it's like they're not truly addressing the issues in their relationship. And so it would be very interesting to see how they deal with those things moving forward. We have Nick and Hannah. Nick comes home and Hannah is cooking. And I guess at some point he told Hannah that he knew how to cook. And so he was like, well, is there anything I can help you with? And she's like, you could boil the noodles. This man, he asked her every step of the way of how to boil noodles. First and foremost, which is the most egregious, he thought the noodles were located in the refrigerator. How much water do you need in here? Like, what temperature should I set it to? Like, you could tell he does not cook. He has not cooked. Once again, I am not judging him. I just learned how to cook or started cooking maybe a year and a half ago. Okay, I'm just learning myself, so I'm not being super judgmental. But this man didn't know how to boil noodles. And so Hannah was like, just move. Let me do it. Let me do it. You clearly don't know what you're doing. Like, you ain't made ramen noodles a day in your life? Yeah. So he ends up meeting her brother. And of course, initially they go in on the height, even though he is taller than her. Like, it's not like he's her same height. He's taller than her. Now, will she be taller than him with heels on? Yeah. But it's not like he's just a little person. She takes any opportunity to demean him every chance she gets. They start having a conversation about how, it took forever for the clothes to dry in the laundry and he left it for her to fold the next day. And, she's been poking at him since they got out of the pods. She's been insulting him disguised as jokes this entire time. He finally fires back and says, you could at least fold the laundry. You're unemployed. I didn't see nothing wrong with that because she doesn't mind saying what's on her mind. She says any type of demeaning joke she feels like saying. She really could not let that unemployment joke go. And I just don't understand. Like, you hurl insults at him as jokes every single day. But it's funny when you do it. He's so much better than me because I would have been stepped on her. I would have been gone in on her. Like I said in my last review, there's so much low-hanging fruit that you could say about her that you could really get ugly and go there with her that I can't believe she really has the nerve. She is so rude. And this man takes it on the chin every single time. He's a good sport. This one time he fires back and all of a sudden he's the devil. He ends up talking with her brother one-on-one. He tells the brother, she has said way harsher things to me. I finally said something back to her. And the brother was like, I have the same exact issue with her. She can dish it, but she can't take it. So that was validation for him right there. And so he tells her when she comes back, like, you haven't said one single compliment about me since your brother got here. Like, how are we together and you don't have one good thing to say about me? And so, they end up complimenting each other, but does it count if he had to make her do it? They end up meeting her parents and they really like him. They're having a great conversation with him. And she's like, why are y'all not grilling him? And the dad says, well, I don't understand the point of grilling him at this point. You've already decided you wanted to marry him. You've accepted his proposal. What do you want me to say now? Like, after everything is said and done. She's like, well, I've been, nitpicking at him and pointing out all of his flaws and things like that. And he was like, well, you should do it because you're the one who's going to be married to him, not us. She pretty much said that she feels like she does no wrong and she's perfect. And, she feels the need to nitpick him or whatever. And honestly, her family seems like they already know what she's about. They tired of her too. They just trying to get her married off so they don't have to deal with it. She was just very uptight the entire time. Like, she didn't seem happy. Like, oh, this is my fiance. I'm happy for you to meet my family. Like, he was calm, cool, and collected, but it was on edge the entire time. She says that she likes him, but there's certain things about him that, she doesn't like. The dad was like, well, we could have thrown you away a long time ago if we wanted to nitpick at the little things about you that, we could pick at. But it's just funny because even her parents know her attitude sucks. So then she meets his parents, which they seem like they're really sweet people, very open, very welcoming of anyone, right? But he's never been in love. He's never brought anyone home. This is their first time meeting someone that he actually cares about. So she came in, she brought them some really nice, thoughtful gifts. Pretty much, she was smiling the whole time. She was on her best behavior. Nick told his dad that he felt like she was pushing him to be a better man, and he wants to be able to grow for her. And I thought that was a beautiful thing, because we really, between these two, we really don't see the love there. We just see a lot of her talking down on him, and we see him accept it, but it's like, what is holding y'all here? Like, do you really care about her? Like, you must, unless you just want to be with her because what, to be on TV? Like, I don't know. It was nice to hear him actually say something that made sense as to why they wanted to be together. It was just her and his mom cooking together. She did say that she's more critical of him because she's been on her own longer, and you know, he's pretty much lived at home his whole life. And so the mom said, yeah, we did a lot of pampering of him, but we wanted to give him what we didn't have. And, you know, we went to all his games and we were super supportive. And, you know, now that he's an adult, he looks back on that, he really appreciates it. And so she also said that he's used to being around strong women. So that is why he's able to, you know, take all that criticism and appreciate the fact that she's an independent woman and, you know, doesn't want someone that's just in the kitchen and, you know, doesn't give him any pushback on his decisions. They pretty much really loved her and accept her with open arms, but I wonder how they would feel if they saw how she actually talked to him, because she put on a good face in front of them. You know, she at least showed her family how she really talks to him, how she really feels about him. Y'all, I completely forgot to talk about Tyler and Ashley when they are the main event of this episode. The amount of times that kids have come up over these past few episodes, and he was the main one to bring up these kids, was astonishing. Low-key, at some point, it sounded like he wanted to get her pregnant. It was really weird how often he brought that up. But 2 weeks before the wedding, finally he decided to drop the bomb on her. And he let her know that he was a sperm donor. I don't know if he explained it in the way that it's been exposed online, because the way it's been shared online, even though he was a donor, he was very present and participating in those kids' lives. And then all of a sudden he just stopped out of nowhere. And allegedly he owes all this mountain of debt and child support. I don't know if he told that part of it. I doubt it, because she did not bring it up at all. And honestly, Ashley is a way better woman than me, because even if he was just a donor, the fact that you have had that in your back pocket and you've been talking about kids and throwing this in my face here and there, and we've been having these conversations, and you never felt like you should have to bring that up at any point in time, is completely deceptive. And to me, that's lying by omission. You knew you had this in your back pocket the entire time and still was having conversations like, oh, what are we going to name our kids? What type of traditions are we going to have with our kids? You know, things like that. Like, how many kids are we going to have? That kept coming up. Not even telling this woman, you have 3 other kids out there already. I can't believe she wasn't snapping and going off on him. She did say that she had to take a day or so to herself, apart from him, to gather herself. She told him this is something that she should have known about before agreeing to marry him. And also, you're saying you want to get married to her and have kids, but you don't even consider telling her that first. Like I said, it's very deceitful. And now you have to question everything about him. Like, can I believe anything you said to me after you leave out something so major? It's one thing to be a sperm donor. It's another for them kids to have your last name. It's another for you to be in a custody battle. It's another for you to owe child support. It's another for your mother to be posting these kids, talking about how cute her grandkids are. That means you're very heavily involved in these kids' lives and have pictures all online of you with the kids that you posted on your page, but now you've deleted them. But the internet is forever, so they're still out there. So with that being said, she told him that she doesn't know how she can move forward, especially since he hasn't showed her any documentation of him being just a sperm donor. And, you know, he was sitting up there with his tail tucked between his legs, trying to push out tears, trying to cry and apologize. And I understand if you don't want to be with me, but you know, I'm gonna fight until the very last second. Girl, Ashley, I hope you run and run as fast as you can. He wouldn't even have the opportunity if it were me. He really wouldn't, because I don't want to be a stepmama. It would be one thing if Ashley knew before she said yes and agreed to being a stepmama, but you just gonna surprise me? Surprise, I have 3 kids? Absolutely not. If she decides to leave him, she's well within her right. I actually hope and am begging her to leave him, because this situation is absolutely psychotic. I can't believe that he came on TV knowing that he had this in his back pocket. Playing in her face, keep bringing up kids, knowing you have kids. Oh my God. But anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think about this down below. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? I would love to hear your opinion. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Peace.